Adam Warlock's appearance in the GOTG 3 trailer gave people their first real look at Will Poulter's Marvel character, but it didn't say anything about his powers. And many people are wondering how powerful he could be, especially compared to other superheroes in the MCU. So today, we're going to talk about how powerful Warlock can be in the MCU, and discuss whether he's going to be a villain in GOTG 3. So sit back and relax. Starting off with Adam Warlock's Marvel Comics powers and origin. Adam Warlock started out as a powerful being made by the group called the Enclave. After getting away from them, he entered the Marvel Universe to find his own way. But originally, Warlock's character in Marvel Comics was just called him. This led him to meet Marvel characters like Lady Sif, Thor, and the High Evolutionary, who called him Warlock and gave Adam the Soul Stone. Warlock learned a lot about people and right and wrong as he tried to control his newly found Infinity Stone, and then gave up his life during a team-up with the original Captain Marvel and the Avengers. He then went on to live in Soul World, the pocket dimension of the Soul Stone. Soul World kinda sounds like an amusement park. After he was brought back to life, Adam led Marvel's heroes against Thanos in Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Crusade, and Infinity War. Adam's physical strength isn't quite as strong as the Hulk's, for example, but he has a lot of other cosmic abilities that make him one of the most powerful Marvel Comics characters. And this would put the MCU version above the Guardians he will be working with, which could make the team stronger if he's kept on for Guardians of the Galaxy 4. Some of these powers include his ability to fly, increase his strength, shoot energy blasts, and heal from many wounds by going back into a cocoon like the one he was born in. Next up, will Adam Warlock be the most powerful ever MCU hero? Well, given Adam Warlock's abilities in the comics, it seems unlikely that Will Poulter's MCU character would be introduced as less powerful than the MCU's strongest heroes. Let us explain. When people talk about the strongest MCU characters, names like Thor, Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange often come up. And after Infinity War, fans gave that title to Thor and Doctor Strange. And many people in Endgame started calling Captain Marvel the strongest. But after WandaVision, Scarlet Witch became the strongest character in the MCU, and the scariest. But still, Warlock's powers in the comics are similar to those of characters like Captain Marvel in the MCU. This would definitely put him on the same level as Carol Danvers. And if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 uses his regenerative powers, he might even be better than her. We also think it would be a terrible use of the character to introduce Adam Warlock, who is at least as powerful as Thanos in the comics, and then make him much weaker. And considering the hints that Adam Warlock will be the villain in Guardians 3, he would have to be a big enough threat that the Guardians would have to work together to beat him. But if Guardians 3 shows his origins and powers correctly, this will make him one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. Moving on to, is Will Poulter's Warlock a villain in Volume 3? James Gunn has confirmed that Poulter will play the Golden Gladiator in the third movie in the series, but he hasn't said exactly what his role will be. Adam Warlock's turn into a villain seems unlikely to many people, and he's a Marvel Comics character who's joining the MCU a few years too late, as he's Thanos' worst enemy and a key character in the Infinity Saga. But Warlock wasn't allowed to fight Thanos in the Infinity Saga, even though he was closely tied to him and the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. Instead of Infinity War and Endgame, Adam Warlock will be introduced in the middle of the Multiverse Saga. So, is Warlock a bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Well, at the moment, we don't know. Even though the GOTG 3 trailer only showed a brief glimpse of Poulter as Adam Warlock, we don't know his role in the movie. But based on what was hinted at in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, some fans think he'll be a villain instead of a hero. Followed by, is Adam Warlock a villain in the comics? Well, the comic book version of Adam Warlock can't be called a villain because he's been a hero for decades, always doing what's right for the universe. And in several Marvel comic stories, leaders like Captain America, Iron Man, Cyclops, and Doctor Strange have helped Adam Warlock. Warlock's bad side only shows up on rare and short-term occasions, like when the full power of the Infinity Gauntlet corrupts him. But there is a reason why Adam Warlock starts out as an enemy. Warlock once fought against Thor after he came out of his cocoon, but before he got his comic identity and costume. Since he had superpowers and was basically born as an adult, he was a very naive character who didn't know much about how people work or how they should act. Is this a Vision reference? When he was first born, one of the first things he did was try to find a mate. Warlock, who didn't know how things like that were supposed to work, set his sights on Lady Sif, a minor character in the MCU, and tried to take her away, which led to an epic fight with Thor. He was eventually defeated, and when he returned, Marvel started turning him into a hero by giving him new ideas about his life's purpose. It sounds messed up, but alright. Now let's look at how Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 sets up Warlock. The thing is, Warlock's turn as a villain in the MCU was first hinted at in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, when the cocoon in the Collector's Museum was seen as an Easter egg because it looked just like the one he came out of in the comics. James Gunn confirmed the connection at first, but the second movie showed that the cocoon was just a distraction. Now we know that the real Adam Warlock cocoon belonged to one of the Sovereigns, an alien race with gold skin that is connected to the MCU's Adam Warlock. In Volume 2, we meet the Sovereign and Aisha, the leader of their group. And after helping Aisha with the job and then betraying them, the Guardians made the Sovereign angry, but they were able to get away with their lives. Volume 2 also had a post-credit scene that showed the Sovereign creating a new member of their species, whom Aisha named Adam. It's safe to assume that Adam is part of Aisha's plan to get back at the Guardians. We think this could be the main reason why people think Adam Warlock's MCU debut will focus on his story as a villain. Coming up next, how Warlock's story fits the MCU's Guardians. The way Adam Warlock is set up in Volume 2 and how he started out in the Marvel Comics will make it easy for him to fit into the story Gunn has made for Star-Lord and all the other characters. And like Rocket Raccoon, Warlock is a scientific creation for a specific reason. Even though he's part of an alien race, Aisha's comments about Warlock show that he's unique, which means that he, like the rest of the Guardians, doesn't have a place in the world. And we think if Warlock in the MCU is anything like his comic book self, he'll probably reject Aisha's plan for him and try to make his own path. After all, Will Poulter's character in GOTG 3 doesn't know them very well and may not have much reason to kill people he doesn't know. On top of that, since he fits well with the Guardians of the Galaxy's movie's theme of misfits, it wouldn't be surprising if he joined the second family of the MCU. And we can't wait for that to happen anymore. Not to mention Warlock's future after Guardians Volume 3. Well, according to James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the end of the main character's stories. No! And if Marvel makes Guardians of the Galaxy 4, it should be about a different team. But that doesn't mean that Adam Warlock should only be in one movie. The thing is, as we've talked about earlier in the video, Warlock has been both a villain and a hero in Marvel Comics. And this, along with the fact that there could be more than 40 movies in the MCU's future, makes him the perfect new addition to the multiverse saga. And as Volume 3 may be the end for Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Rocket, Nebula, Groot, and maybe even Mantis, it should be just the beginning for Will Poulter's GOTG character. With him in the next story, there could be a clear link to the first three, as Warlock could be the main character in a future crossover. We all know that Adam didn't participate in Infinity War or Endgame, but if and when another big bad like Thanos comes along, he could still lead the MCU heroes into battle. Personally, we would love to see him fight with Kang in the next Avengers. Last but not least, who is the confirmed GOTG 3 villain? High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji, is confirmed to be the main villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and this supports the idea that the MCU's long-term plan for Adam Warlock is to make him a hero as in the comics. The High Evolutionary gives him the Soul Stone and the name Adam Warlock. But here's the thing, the High Evolutionary is basically a cosmic mad scientist who is obsessed with evolution, and even the Guardians 3 trailer suggests that he made Rocket Raccoon in the MCU, and Bradley Cooper's Marvel character seems ready to take on his creator. But based on Warlock's comic book history and what we know about his MCU debut, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 could start and end Adam Warlock's villain arc in the same movie. And no matter what happens with the High Evolutionary, Warlock probably won't stay a villain for long, especially since fans are already looking forward to the MCU's new cast for Guardians of the Galaxy 4. That's all for this video. Do you think Adam Warlock will change the hierarchy of power in the MCU? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.